talking about the Anunnaki. These are the beings that are written in this book as gods. This book meaning the Bible. These are the so-called gods of the Bible. The one that everybody's talking about, Marduk, he happened to be that quote-unquote jealous god. And if you read the Book of Enki, you see throughout that book, he was very jealous of everything and everybody. And he wanted to rule. And eventually he did, because he got most of you people saying, this God that's a jealous God, that's my God. Well, his real name is Marduk. Meanwhile, there's these Bibles that are out there that had the actual name of the gods, plural, and the vast majority of them were female. So what I want to get into right now is, who is this guy, Marduk? If you haven't read the Book of Enki, I encourage you to read it. So there are books that I'm going to talk about now. And all of these you should read, especially the Bible. And as I said again, the Bible is not the perfect word of God. This is a book whereby men have taken the scriptures of women. And remember, the original first writer was out of Mesopotamia by the name of Enheduanna. These were melanated people, by the way, because that's going to come up in this too. So you've got these Anunnaki here that have come in and taken over this planet that used to be a matriarchal society. This planet used to be a matriarchal planet all across the planet. It was the woman who owned everything. And then she was conquered. And what happens to a woman who is conquered? Well, her history is rewritten. Same thing happened with the melanated people. Same thing happened with the Anunnaki. Same thing is going to happen with the Albion. Same thing happened with the people who have lost knowledge of who they are. And why the so-called government is taking them over, because they don't know who they are. They don't know what their power or authority is. And if you're trying to regain it, you cannot do it in ignorance. And so if you are shrouded in religion, good luck. Wusa. I want to go into the Book of Enki. And I want to go into what happened. This is after the flood. Okay? After the flood, there were different territories. And in each territory, they placed an Anunnaki entity there, such that that entity could be controlling that different territories in accordance with the Book of Enki. Now, I need to say this because you hear people saying, oh, this guy, Zachariah Stinson, he was wrong or whatever. I need you to understand a couple of things, and we're going to go through this again. When I read these books, I vet them to see if they are in alignment with science, archaeology, history, etymology, and everything else. Anything I can find, that's what I'm using to vet. And so when I look at this book and then I vet this against other translations, it's pretty much in alignment. There are different variations, like the names are different. Book of Enki and Enoch, they're going to call, for example, Noah a different name. But you know it's the same character, the same entity. The same with a lot of the other gods. They changed the names, okay? So the books that I want to tell you about, Book of Jasher, Book of Enki, Book of Enoch, and read the Bible. The Bible is a good book to read for the simple fact that it's used to control you still to this day. So it's good to know what's in it so that you can use it to your advantage. But I do want to get into how the woman lost her place in society, because originally all of the civilizations on this planet worshipped a female god. And then there was a switch. And we're going to find out the main one, the first main one that switched over and I'm going to say it right now so that we know, was the Israels and the Israelites. They were the first ones switched over, and we're going to get into who these Indo-Europeans really were. Also, there's another book that I would encourage you to read, and it's called When God Was a Woman. This book came out so long ago. I would encourage all of you, if you really want to understand the history of how things happen, this book is called When God Was a Woman. And then we're going to find out what happened with the woman and why this society is so jacked up and how we get back. If you all have the Book of Enki, I encourage you to pull it up. Let's go through it, because I want to go through this this last part about how Marduk took everything over. And once again, this is after the flood, and they gave territories, different territories, to different Anunnaki. Well, what ended up happening is they started to fight over these different territories. Now, the way they would fight was not where they go boxing each other. I'm going to punch you in the eye, I'm going to sock you in, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to stab you. No. They use their humans to fight for them. Okay? And what Enki, those of y'all who know the difference between Enlil and Enki, Enlil couldn't stand the humans. Enki was supposedly the creator of humans. And he would create a set of humans for each different Anunnaki that was controlling the different territories. This is the Book of Enki. And it's talking about how Marduk has created this book of instructions on how to journey back into Nibiru in the afterlife. So in other words, these are the basic instructions before leaving Earth, is what this thing he's created. Some of y'all know of it as the Bible today. And what I need you to understand is, at this particular time, all of the Anunnaki, they have done different things. They've created, according to the Book of Enki, they have created different groups that follow them. What y'all know of as Inanna, she had quite a large group of people in different areas that followed her, and they worshipped her. But what Marduk had in mind was to go around to all these different groups and say, no, I'm the only God. I'm the only God. It's just me. Ain't nobody else. Don't worship nobody else. But all them other guys, they fake. This is what Marduk is saying. And who is Marduk? That is Enki's son, oldest son. And so we're just going to read some of these highlights and get an understanding of who this character was and what his purpose was in his actions. Remember to keep that bell on for notifications. Follow UNA Republic for more great information.